Hey there, Z Nation fans! It's been a long wait, but we are finally back to talk about the Season 3 premiere, No Mercy. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, a lot of interesting, familiar faces, and a very special guest. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin!
Very epic return of Z Nation, and I just want everyone to know that I am Spartacus.
I am Spartacus.
I am Spartacus.
I am Spartacus.
I love it.
I'm Jay Garrick.
I am Dr. Teller. Well, thank you guys so much, Z Nation fans. We are back, and we are so excited to talk to you guys about the Season 3 premiere. Let me go ahead and introduce my fantastic panel. Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet.
Michelle Cullen.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on Twitter at Michelle Cullen.
Our wonderful special guest, Pisay Pao.
Hello, I'm also back.
Yay! Fantastic to see you on this show again.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to start talking about it. And I'm your guys' host, Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. Also, if you guys are using Twitter, you can use the hashtag ABTVZNation, or we've got Katie keeping an eye on the live chat. So we want to know your guys' thoughts about this week's episode. Because, yeah, it's just so good to be back. And I don't know how you guys feel about the whole thing, but for a flashback episode, it fit in pretty seamlessly.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, the narrative, I felt like we hadn't skipped a beat since where it took place in Season 2.
The only thing that was missing for me was Vasquez.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's so funny that you said that, because a lot of people were like, what is going on? And I was reading David Latt's Twitter feed, who's, head of Asylum, and he was like, it's a flashback. It's a flashback. It's a flashback.
It's fine, guys.
It's a flashback, you guys.
They said it at the top of the episode.
They did.
They did.
Yeah, we had that nice little with the glasses on the. I want his glasses.
We're going
Oh
in the
my
way
God,
back
Russell.
Russell, thank you.
Oh,
Russell's
yeah.
glasses were incredible, and I want them.
I actually
my God.
missed the first few seconds of it, believe it or not. I was at the premiere and they were telling us it's on. I was waiting in line for wine. Sorry.
That is a good place to be.
Life happens.
That is a good place to be. No one's going to whine about it.
We're done here. Anyway, it's been a good show, everyone. But yeah, season 3, starting off, again, a very interesting decision for them to kind of go back. And I guess from a storytelling perspective, sort of set up these things that are undoubtedly going to come back around later on this season. Do you guys want to talk about that real quick, or should we save that for prediction territory?
Yeah, because the man was definitely Sir not appearing in the rest of season 2. So.
Or so we think.
That's his subtitle.
Sir not appearing in the rest. It's an extended Monty Python reference.
I think
Come on.
save it for prediction territory.
Okay, yeah. Let's start off. I want to ask you, Pisay, how does it feel coming back? Because we've missed you so much in this show.
Thank you. I've missed you guys, and I've definitely missed everyone on Z Nation. It was really exciting, to be quite honest with you. I'm not going to lie, especially after I read the script and saw what Cassandra got to do.
That was super weird. Not going to lie, that was just really super weird.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was too. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the babysitting kind of back and forth up until that point, because I thought her trying to figure out how to take care of the kid was really funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously she would be confused, well, what do I do? Kind of in an animalistic way of what is this thing? It's a zombie, but I don't know. Yeah.
Just the moment of her hanging, looking in the box and then closing it, that's gonna solve the problem.
Yep.
But
and then leaning over it, shh, baby, just quiet down. There was one point where I sat on the cooler. I didn't make it in the cut, but I was I think she would do this. Just sit on it and stay there. Yeah.
So did they just start rolling the camera and say, okay, now find a way to make this thing go away, make this problem go away?
Abrams, who directed the episode, was so wonderful. I'm a very visual person, and I follow directions really well, I like to think. And so I like being given given direction, like, okay, now do this, take your time with that. And he's so great in terms of that. So he was the one that was like, okay, look at it slowly, now close the box. You know, it was wonderful. Yeah. It was wonderful.
Yeah, and we've had him in the studio before, and it was really cool. I guess we could probably talk about it.
Let's just talk about it. We were in this episode, y'all.
We'll save it a little bit more for the end of this, for the end of our after show. But yeah, guys, we were in it.
We might be biased in this review because,
and they were awesome.
We were zombies.
They were amazing.
I had a hard time seeing like, there's this, there's that. And just because we got the tour of the set, it was like, I remember seeing that. We were there. We walked in there. I have a picture of that house. Like,
it's different, right? It's different. How was it for you guys? You know what I mean?
No one's ever asked me that before.
I know, right?
But yeah, I kind of agree with Michelle. It's kind of 100% impossible for us to be unbiased about this.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and I was going to save this for the end, but we actually we did a little behind the scenes video, but we don't have the whole thing. We're going to put that up later on this week, but we do have a quick time lapse video to kind of show you guys a little bit of the process of becoming a zombie. Yep. If we can go ahead and get that pulled up.
So for those of you who are listening on iTunes, this is well worth flipping to YouTube.
Yeah, and so I'd say this process took, what was it, like 30
half an hour,
minutes?
45 minutes.
Yeah.
They have it down to a beautiful science. Corinne and her team are just phenomenal.
At one point, they had all three of us in chairs right next to each other, and they just took a shot down the line, like, take a picture. This is what all three of you look like. This is great.
Yeah, and it was so cool because I got to watch Michelle get her makeup applied, and there's a lovely
yes, so good.
And you might have seen that face several times because the camera loved this redhead.
Oh gosh,
I love
so much.
No, but here's a question: how long did it take to get the makeup off?
I was
2 days.
a little more.
Cumulatively about 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
but we only had one shower between in the hotel room, so we had to switch off.
I was meeting friends after we were done shooting for the day, so I just kind of was brutal to my skin trying to get it off.
Yeah.
To meet them, so I did that on location with hot water and paper towels.
Right.
Just regretting the lack of Pond's face cream or baby wipes to assist in the thing, but I was still finding makeup in my ears.
Days later.
Yeah, days later.
Well, I think we may have talked about this, but the first season I was shooting, I was so tired, and this is like when I had changed into Cassandra with the bite mark, and I would just show up to like supermarkets, like restaurants with all my zombie makeup on, bite on the face, totally forgetting that I had this stuff going on, like blood everywhere. Like, yeah, could I please have the order of steak with fries? Like,
they're like, just take it and go.
Just take it. You don't need to
hurt anyone.
Well, I heard that in Spokane, the way that people check to see if you've been a zombie is they look at your ears. Like, this is a thing that waitresses do in restaurants. It's like, you still got makeup in your ears. Oh, you must have been a zombie today. Or, sometime this week.
That's awesome. Yeah. I didn't know that.
So I've heard.
But again, cannot say thank you enough to everybody at the asylum, everybody in the production who made that happen.
Give me a moment and I will start pulling up names because y'all deserve to be thanked.
Shout out. Dreams come true.
I love it.
But yeah, this it was so cool, and I think we have a much greater appreciation for what you guys do on this show
thank you.
On a day-to-day basis, because we were only there for a day and then we left. It is so intense, the amount of hard work each and every one of you guys, the cast and crew, puts into this show. And
shooting and reshooting.
Kenny Parks and Thomas Deneen.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for facilitating this. You're wonderful.
Love those
We
guys.
adore you. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
love those
It was an
guys.
incredible experience.
And again, can't say thank you enough to everybody who gave us like the VIP treatment.
You
too.
deserved it, for sure.
That was fun. That's it. To answer the chat, we were in the ending.
The last 10 minutes,
Yeah,
we were in the scene with 5K and 10K getting surrounded. You can see me leaning over a low wall. I had so many bruises on my ribs for like a week. It was like, I'm doing it.
Man.
I accidentally ripped a pocket off of Nat's costume in the middle of that.
She
day.
did.
And you kept
Got
it.
caught
And
up.
it
No,
was
it was
Yes, it was
halfway.
a
It was
souvenir.
halfway off. So I tore it partially off, and then it was like, Nat, you probably want to go see wardrobe. I think and he kind of. Oh.
You ruined everything.
I ruined everything.
You're like in the mirror, like, can you sign this actually?
I want to keep it. Can I just take it all the rest of the way off? Who needs consistency in film? No.
If you go on Twitter, I was a dork and took screenshots, and I tagged Kiaxet and the Menguin, so you can see the stills, so you know what you're looking for. If you want to be as dorky as I am and rewatch this 5 times, it's fine.
I love it. I was saying that I'm not going to know any of the answers to your questions because I didn't get to really see it. Like, even in the premiere, I was tweeting the entire time. So I was like, wait, what happened? Huh? Who just died? Oh, me? Again? Oh,
Oh, this is the worst.
That's a twist. I
know. I didn't even
first
see
time
that
we saw you
coming.
die was actually the second.
Although I do want to say, I know it's probably jumping ahead a little bit in the episode, but seeing you take off after 10K and actually, and this is kind of what I was alluding to, is with Abram and actually getting to see how he worked and how he gives
right.
direction.
Yes.
It was really cool. And talking about the physicality, which we could talk about the physicality of pretending to be a zombie for an entire day, but seeing you in the final scene of this episode chase after 10K and actually tackle him to the ground, and seeing you guys have to do that over and over again.
Watching you dead sprint in those heels. Oh my God. How did you not hurt yourself? That was incredible.
Who said that I didn't hurt myself?
This time.
You know? Yes. No, I'm still hurt from that for sure. But yeah, it's like, and he's fast. Mm-hmm. He's a fast runner. He definitely had to like slow down for me, and I consider myself a fast runner.
And you looked really fast having to catch up to him.
I was.
Yeah, you were also in heels. Holy cow.
Yeah. And can I just say, I was so afraid to smash his beautiful face. 'Cause can you imagine how many angry fans I'd have messaging me? Everyone's like, you gotta go fast, you just gotta go for it. I'm like, no, you can't smash this beautiful face.
You can.
You know, there's people right now losing their minds over, I thought they were going to tell us in the season premiere whether he's alive or not. We got nothing.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, there's a delay.
Spoiler alert, this episode took place in the past.
That's
So we can't
such a-
provide you any answers. So tune in on Friday for episode 2.
Yeah,
It's such a genius mean move.
It's glorious. I'm so
A mean
happy.
move? Because,
A mean move.
because everyone wants to know if,
What's gonna happen?
if he's still
But
alive
it's like
or not.
we're giving you a 2-hour premiere, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, answers!" And it's in the past. So
Yeah.
really, plot development. You're welcome.
Like I said, a lot of potential, a lot of really good setup for stuff that I'm sure is going to come back in season 3. So yeah, let's go ahead and kind of get to the meat of this episode, which is the introduction of the man.
The man.
In a suit and flip-flops, which is just like...
Wait, you think that was funny versus his saran wrap bodysuit?
The suit and flip-flops
thought
were
was-
funnier because of just the whole unexpectedness of it all. You saw him with the saran wrap and the tape, and it's like, okay, this is going to be a thing.
He used his resources wisely.
He did.
You know, come to think
It's
of it, yeah,
impressive.
I don't think I've ever seen a hired killer in flip-flops. At least in media. I don't know, I might have run into one at some point.
I loved the
There's probably
pan
been a
down
few.
of it.
The what?
The pan down of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
no.
just resting there, and I was like, "Oh, he brought Zona with him."
he just wants to relax, and that's another thing is we kind of get what we assume is our first real look at Zona, this elusive kind of thing that keeps getting alluded to.
This pool
within
party
the show.
in the 70s.
Yeah, like for a moment I was like, did we just turn it to an episode of Mad Men? What's going on?
I know. I was thinking of like
liked
Mad
it.
Men or Swingers, something like that.
Wait, what is it? I'm lost. Zona, Mad Men,
Zona
or Forget
is,
Me.
Oh, no. Honestly, I started. The only reason I remembered because it has been a while since the finale and since fans have been talking to us about it. But watching this, a lot of fans started going, "Oh my gosh, is it Zona?" And I was like, "What was Zona again?" And Zona is it gets mentioned in the Area 51 episode from last season as like this supposedly secluded island run by a rich rich people who don't really care about the rest of the world and the zombie plight that they're dealing with right now. So again, from what we've seen, we can probably assume that this is Zoma, but there's still nothing really definitive about it. And that being said, we don't know why they want these people.
Because it looks like they got a full set. Oh, yeah. Which is kind of crazy. Like, somehow they managed to guarantee that none of these doctors had been bitten by zombies or killed otherwise or whatever. They managed to get everyone on the list. It's hard to fill out a shopping list in the zombie apocalypse.
It's actually a really good point. It's 5 doctors, 2 professors, and 1 father, so I'm intrigued what that means.
Did you get a look at the list?
I took a screenshot.
Yeah, girl.
Michelle,
I thought you were repeating something from Gilligan's Island for a second there.
I definitely...
And his wife.
I definitely took a screenshot of the list.
Wow, dang.
Professor Don Lissell, Father Odin Dahlstrom, Dr. Ignatius Shikaro, Professor Marcus Bell, Dr. Bradley Keepenick, Dr. Robin Dinwiddle, Dr. Stephen, I can't say that last name.
Let me look.
Quis.
Dr.
Harold Teller.
Now, what is the question?
It's like Konkaluski or something. It might be Polish.
We shall call him Quetzalcoatl from now on. Quetzalcoatl.
Yes. Is it a real list? You know, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
is it just names like where the writer's like,
but yeah,
are these angry eyes?
Are these characters? That's the question, though. Are these characters that we are going to see, or is Dr. Teller the only one of relevance to our crew? Because they've now we know that they've run into him in the past. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we could make a lot of speculation about this group and kind of what they've got going on or what plans. If I were to guess, I know that this is prediction territory, but we're talking about it. Who cares?
We might as well. We're doing this
out of order.
It's a while. It takes a little bit.
We have a 2-hour movie and a 1-hour time slot. We gotta pick and choose.
And we were in it.
And we were in it. So we're all in it.
Completely biased. There goes whatever schedule or itinerary we drew up. But if I were to guess, my guess would be that these doctors are meant to keep this old man, whoever is in charge of Zona, alive because he looks like he's on his last
legs. He does not look
good. I mean,
good.
all we see is just the hand, and it's very pulsied, I think is the word for that.
It's shaky and it looks like he's
nails,
getting a lot of sun,
his nails
but
are
his
very
complexion,
purple.
Yeah, that's not good.
Getting a lot of sun, but it does nothing for his complexion.
But it's interesting that there's a priest among them.
There's a father.
Well, this is why I'm saying, you know, maybe it's not really. Maybe they just put some names on the list.
I feel like they wouldn't have shown
more credit than that.
I feel like they wouldn't have shown the list to the camera if there wasn't going to be some significance to it later on because of people like us.
That was my inner monologue when I paused and took a picture.
They're showing me this for a reason.
Yeah, this is true. This is
like,
true.
otherwise he would have just been like, there's a list and you wouldn't be able to see it, or he would have held it just back to the camera. But the fact that he did the whole
and it zoomed in and focused.
Yeah.
Everything's a clue.
Like this very blatant clue that we're showing you.
The flip-flops are a clue too.
Okay, this is the nation, not Scream.
Let's talk about Dr. Teller a little bit, because when we first get introduced to him, you know, before the group arrives, we kind of infer that he's a little bit of a coward because he's not volunteering himself. And it's the apocalypse. You know the stakes, and you know that if you don't give yourself up, chances are everybody in this compound's going to die. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't quite sure what to make of this guy initially when the man came up and was like, hand me over Dr. Teller, and that's the easy way we get through this. You don't want to see the hard way. What was your guys' initial impression of Dr. Teller?
Yeah, I couldn't really blame him, to be completely honest.
He's a very intimidating man.
Well, and especially if all of these people who are living in this little shanty town outside the lab are his coworkers and his friends. They're not going to be like, yeah, sure, just take him. It's great. They're going to be like, no, he's ours. Go away.
But also we wouldn't have a story anymore.
And that too.
Yeah. Right? So I knew, I was like, for sure, there's something going on with this guy. He's hiding something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that scene where Warren's like, why do they want you? And he's like, I don't know.
He's like, shrug?
Sure you don't. We'll go with this. But
just
you guys
give
are all
your
going to
best
die
Kanye
anyways.
shrug.
Yeah, sorry, my turn.
It's been a while since we've done this.
I agree with Katie very much so that the town people, the little shanty towns, comrades, co-workers, friends, everyone.
Family.
Any
Group
other-
of survivors.
Any other word you
Mercy
can
Lab
use.
employees.
Mercy
Yes.
Lab
Yes.
employees, they obviously were on his side and were defending him and were with him. And I thought that was, I mean, that's always good to see, but it was also intriguing. And then when you learn the backstory more about what's going on with the lab, it's like, oh yeah, no, obviously they would, yeah.
They would want to stick
together.
Yeah, camaraderie is a hard thing to come by in the apocalypse.
Indeed, it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about why Dr. Teller is being singled out, and that's because his work with...
Because
I guess,
he's a fun
mold-
guy.
I told you we were done here.
Welcome back, everyone.
He's been working with a lot of fungus, and we get to see these mold zombies, which...
I love it so much. It's fine. We're good.
We're done here.
Okay, I'll take the lead.
has
So
been
Dr.
so fun.
Teller has these mold zombies. And
Please do. But so we get these mold zombies, and I don't know about you guys, but when I think fungus and zombies, I immediately think of The Last of Us, and I immediately have like
clickers.
you know, shivers running down my spine because those zombies are freaking terrifying.
Clickers are a lot harder to kill than puppies and kittens.
Very
Let's
true.
be real.
Very true. What do you guys think of these new zombie character designs?
I mean, they weren't quite zombies.
They weren't
The
zombies.
fungi, they were
alive
infected.
but not dead, and
They were immune to the zombie virus, though. So they were the closest thing to Murphy that we've seen in these entire 2 seasons.
But they were mutated.
Ooh.
Yeah,
like,
because of the
beyond
fungus.
belief. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for correcting me because I'm like, ooh, Z Nation does so many different types of zombies.
How
but
dare
you're
you.
absolutely right.
How dare
They
you.
weren't zombies. They were
They-
something entirely different.
They were the closest thing to Murphy. And I thought that the telepathy with them, with it being so clear, was very fascinating.
Yeah. Because he's very in tune with every single zombie that he comes across.
Except for the blasters, which always got me. Good lord.
Yeah, those were good.
The blasters
But-
Yeah.
were great.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is like the first time we hear distinguishable words.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
You are not mistaken.
Yeah, well, he's
don't
actually
think.
because they're not zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
There's a level of like cognitive awareness that they possess that other zombies do not.
Well, and his wife still had a sense of self, was still asking after their son.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't dead.
That was rough.
That hurt.
And that was...
That hurt so much.
That was such a tough underlying narrative. He had never been able to hear her and know what she was feeling or how
Right.
much she was present there.
And the fact that they were all begging for mercy. Like, they were sentient enough to know, like, just get us
Please.
out of this. This is bad.
Just-
Let us go.
I've got fungus on my face. Just
This stopped being fun a long time ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, shout out to the makeup department again for finding new and creative ways to, you know, have these creature feature effects. And I thought the black light was
I loved that.
especially with the blood stains and everything, was a really nice touch.
It was really fun to be in that room, but I'm trying to remember, I don't think I could wear my boots because of the
okay.
white.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
they
makes
would've stood out
sense.
too
They would have been
much.
like,
Yeah, they were like, you stay back here or something like that. I was like, is that your nice way of saying don't be in the shot? You just tell me. I'm not in the movie. Fine.
we're going to shoot you from the knees up.
Just over here.
Just keep going back. Keep going back.
Do you want
Just
to
back
stand
out the door and
and shut it? Perfect.
great, the camera loves you.
I can hear your inner monologue now. Yeah.
That'd
Yeah,
be
no, the
great.
black
Isn't
lights
it
were
great
cool,
to be
though.
back?
It's lovely to be back. I love it. Yeah.
But yeah, black light was really cool, and I think it sets a really nice kind of tone for what we're going to be seeing later on down the line this season. Because right off the bat, we have something that this show has never done before.
And we also had, the chat's been talking quite a bit about this. In terms of new zombies, the Kraken.
Yeah,
Release
Loved
the
that.
Kraken.
For one, for that. That
Yes.
was amazing. For another, zombies trained well enough to respond to a whip which was crazy. For a third, mercy-proof zombies. And if you notice, they took the biggest, fastest ones, made them mercy-proof, and then whipped them. Of course they were going berserk.
Yeah,
like, this was incredible.
They're mercy-proof, but they also can't bite you.
They can't bite you, but that doesn't mean they can't bludgeon you to
Like, it
death.
would have been more terrifying if it was just from here down. Like that creepy dude from Lord of the Rings.
True, but if
Like
you
a-
angle it,
like
you
a
still
ring
got
ring?
it, though. And
Yeah,
you would have
that's
10K
true.
on their side, and he's got a good... He can
That's
angle.
fair. But
I was thinking the same thing.
But
Just, you know,
because the zombie's bite is like the most dangerous part. But again, when they're in that much of a frenzy, they could still rip you limb from limb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, they killed the one girl. Which was just like, oh.
That was a bummer because the Addie's main kind of
Buddy.
storyline in this one is kind of bonding with the folks from Mercy Labs, kind of taking them under her wing and like teaching them how to shoot and giving them confidence of like you're gonna make it through this, and then
Literally no one survived. I don't know why that's so funny to me.
That's so new for Z Nation. That never happens. You know?
No, people get wiped out. Remember the commune of all women?
We were never here.
Sarcasm,
here.
I'm good at life, sorry.
No, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I felt like this was going. The second 5K ran into them, and they decided to take him back. I was like, oh no, guys, don't get involved. And Murphy's like, don't get involved. And they're like, we have to get involved.
Let me show you the tattoo on my butt that says, don't get off the ship. I'm like, how many people now have don't get off the ship tattoos?
Honest.
That's what I want to know. Anywhere. I don't want pictures. I'm just curious.
Just to be clear, that's I like that disclaimer.
good-
Don't send me
yeah.
pictures.
Sometimes you just need to...
You need to include that little caveat.
Don't need pictures.
I am
Especially
curious,
if they're where
though.
the show says they are.
If somebody said like if someone actually has that tattoo before the show even came out, right? Like,
I'm
don't get out of
sure
it.
make
there's
temporary
some
tattoos.
variation of it.
SyFy, new opportunity. The
Oh,
asylum, temporary
yes.
tattoos.
Yeah.
Don't get off the boat.
Don't get off the boat.
I'm gonna sell those at the next comic convention I'm in.
Don't get off the boat. Yep.
I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, to kind of get back, the Kraken was a very intriguing, because it raises a lot of questions, first of all, about Zona and about the man and what kind of person has these type of zombies like at his disposal just for like basically a pickup job. He's just going to pick this guy up and take him back.
Oh, I'm
That's
sure
it.
that's not the
Prepared.
first time that they've used the Kraken as a battering ram.
Yeah.
Because that's the point of these things, is they're big, you can't kill them, easily at least, and definitely not from a distance. And they used them to take down the fortifications, and then once they're in, they're berserk, and even if they can't bite you, they're still a massive threat.
Yeah, they're scary looking for sure.
Yeah, and having them all, it's one thing when they're all chained together too, and then it's a completely different thing when they're like, okay, they're running loose.
Is that the Spartacus reference?
Oh, you know,
Never mind. Cut.
So
Edit.
close.
Sorry.
well,
Damn it.
again, it was kind of talking about the Kraken with Roman mythology and everything like that. It was probably an intentional nod, because obviously the Spartacus was a movie reference, but this guy clearly likes movie references. So I'm like,
Him and Doc, right?
yeah, exactly.
You would be so interesting if you weren't a horrible human being.
No,
You're still
I
interesting,
mean, he's
but
still very
Ugh.
interesting. Although it is fun, and you can tell that this show also has a love and appreciation for those pop culture references, from a writing perspective. Because the second Warren said, "I am Dr. Teller,"
Yeah.
you know exactly what they're going for.
yeah.
And I really liked that they had that through line, that every time he addressed her after that, it was, "Hey, Spartacus."
It was
And that
good.
was just so great. I loved 5K. Can we talk a little bit about 5K and Red?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can
Oh
talk
my
a little
God.
bit about 5K and Red. The only other thing I want to point out is that I really liked with the man and Warren, I liked that he treated her as an equal.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing I want to talk about before we move on to the other characters. Was I love that this show has gotten to the point where they're like, Warren is the leader.
Yep.
She is a badass and she is a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
Don't mess with her, and anybody who doesn't recognize that is going to get taken down real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
she
I
is
love
so
the man. Go ahead.
she's so risen to that occasion, if you
Oh,
watch
yeah.
like season 1, season 2 to now. I love that line where he's like, "Don't be a hero," and she's like, "Don't come back."
It's like someone give her a
everyone
mic.
cheered. Yes, mic drop.
Drop that mic because
Bye-bye.
my God.
Yeah, gave me chills.
Fierce.
was incredible.
I personally got chills when she came back on the radio, and it's just like, oh, well, this plan went right out the window, and I have to go now.
I do love that the man did treat her as a threat, though.
Yeah.
And it was 5K's intervention that got her out.
Yeah, but at the same time, it didn't feel like a damsel in distress
No.
sort of thing in any way, shape,
No.
or form. It very much felt like, okay, I've taken the main player out of this equation,
And the other dominoes will fall.
And shoot, now my plan has backfired on me, and I only have X amount of time to kind of get my objective before all hell breaks loose.
So get the saran wrap. We're doing this.
Exactly.
And I mean, I feel kind of bad for... There wasn't a lot of tension in terms of will any of the people we really care about survive, because this is a flashback episode and there's only so much you can do.
Right.
So it's watching this going, this is great, but we know she's going to get out because this is smack in the middle of the season and we've all seen episode 6.
But that's you guys, because you knew it was a flashback.
As did everyone who tweeted a call, right?
Beginning.
It's almost like they had a PSA at the beginning.
I will say, thinking about it now, 5K got worn out, and then everybody else was just left in that box. It's like, clearly, what a good point. Clearly they were confident that they were going to succeed. How embarrassing.
I don't think that anyone thought about that, because we bring up a lot of things when we're going through the script, but that was not one of them. So even like in real life, the cast members don't care about the other survivors.
They only cared about Dr. Harold Teller. That was the only thing that
Those
they...
people could have been anyone.
Well, and I feel
true.
like the child has priorities. He knows Warren. Warren needs to get out. And then her priority is, my team is getting attacked. I need to be there. Anytime I waste here trying to pick locks is going to be more time that they are without one more combat capable person. And then once we go and just destroy everyone there, we'll come back and set all these people free and everything will be great.
I'll come back
and
for you.
unfortunately,
Yes.
everything was not great.
Didn't work out that way.
But it is
Unless I can't find you again, or if I forget.
Or if I see you flying by attached to a helicopter,
But
I will remember what I forgot.
understand the having to make that choice and making your team's survival the priority.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you have 11 chained up strangers and it's like, who are you people? Where did you come
And
from?
you can't
Do you
say,
matter?
kid, stay, even though he saved her and he's clearly capable, you can't say to the kid, okay, you release all these people while I go back.
Right.
And
That's
he
a
may
good
not
idea
even
either.
understand that.
Yeah, so and when you don't want to leave him unattended too, especially when you don't know what kind of people you were locked up with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I can't blame her, but at the same time, it is like that.
It's really funny.
unfortunate.
It's a little funny.
Oops.
It's a good point. It's a good point. I wonder if the writers are like, oh, crap, she's right. I totally forgot about them.
No, I can
whatever.
totally
Right on.
see it as Warren making a choice.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I can stay here
absolutely.
with these strangers or I can go save my team. And it's like, obviously the people you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about, the list that you took a screen cap of, and, the fact that we were this close to, like, maybe sort of saving them, but then decided not to. I'm just, because, like, a lot of the people, that they're after are supposedly, according to the rumors, tied to the creation of the zombie virus.
Right.
So I'm wondering if maybe they weren't, like, colleagues of Dr. Kurian, and all of the research that he was doing either directly or indirectly. And I kind of get like a V for Vendetta vibe from all of this. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but like he's targeting specific people who had to do with like the country becoming the way it was, and a lot of those people were scientists and a priest, and things like that.
I like this theory.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway, you guys wanted to talk about Red, 10K, and 5K, and I concur.
I'm throwing this out now. They're not dead.
It would be nice if they weren't.
Well, okay, we set this up for one, but Z Nation is very much if someone is dead, we're going to show you the body, and then we're going to show you the body getting back up, and then we're going to show you the body getting shot. Yeah. I'm still not over Tom Everett Scott. Mm-hmm. That was a guest book. Oh. You really need him for this episode. Oh, okay. I never trust anyone anymore where they're like, you need this person for this episode. I sit there and go, shoot. I had that for you, too.
I know you did.
We need to say for this one, and this one, but only those. I'm like, okay.
I was like, yep. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fine.
Like, no, I'm going to worry about it. So for this one, we just saw Red running into a cloud of zombies, which we were part of.
Yeah.
We never see her die. And we see 5K lying down, but he didn't become a zombie.
He's surrounded by his family, guys. He's fine.
But also,
okay.
he's not zombified, which if you die, you become a zombie.
Yeah.
So, question mark. He's not
Unless it's a
zombified.
headshot, yeah.
Yeah, well, I seriously doubt that was the case because the implication is that he died from other zombies. And if that was the case, he should have been mauled. But he looked okay.
I think he ran away and then he passed out because he didn't know how to drink water from a cup.
That's true.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Boy got dehydrated, and when you get dehydrated and scared, you pass out, and then your family's like, "Oh shit, son," and then they circle around you because they're crows.
They also don't know how to drink water from a cup, and so
Right?
it's just like
It's a hard knock
hopeless.
life.
I seriously doubt that is the end of 5K and Red. Like, I will be so surprised because this is a show that's like, they're dead, they're dead, they're dead, they're dead, they're dead, and then they rub it in your face a lot.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do think
so-
I think that's important to note. Every other person from that little shanty town had a moment of, oh, they're dead.
Yeah.
They're either
Yeah.
a zombie or they're
Yeah.
dead, and then these two you
Ran
don't get that.
away!
So
Very-
there are two survivors
Very
in my
much
opinion.
no body, no death. But at the same time, if these characters are gone, it's still a good send-off for them. Like, we didn't need to see Red getting ripped apart. We didn't need to see whatever happened to him happen to him. But it's open-ended enough that they could bring those characters back.
yeah.
Again, lots of plot threads and characters that could come back later on this season. Especially as a potential love interest for 10K.
I was gonna say he needs a love interest.
He needs to
does.
stop getting love interests. They die all the time.
He has such bad luck.
Yeah.
I would say it's the
Oh,
kiss
he
of death.
has. He's the one who has bad luck. Not
Not
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
He is the epicenter of the bad luck.
Well, I
It
mean,
strikes down
sometimes-
everyone around him like some sort of Grecian curse.
Sometimes he has good luck, though, like that girl he gave the sniper to. You
Right,
know,
she's
in the
still
other
alive.
episode.
We think.
Wasn't
Maybe.
there that girl from the town that he helped save and then she stayed behind?
Yeah, I mean, he does have, like, they don't all meet untimely ends. And yeah,
Just most of them.
we could very well see Red come back because I don't know about you guys, but it did look like she was about to kick our asses.
Yeah, I was afraid.
They're like, okay,
In
so
real
you're a
life.
zombie, so we need you to kind of make a little path for her, but not actually make a visible path.
And
it's
she's
like,
gonna be
oh, okay.
swinging this thing. It's
so,
fine.
And
like,
everyone's
We're like,
part
we're
of the
not
Red Sea.
terrified by that prospect
And
at
I'm
all.
just front and center, like, please don't run by me. I'm gonna die.
I really love that that scene because there's so much action going on. Like we were just talking about, I love that scene where Red and 10K are just having a casual conversation about how they kill zombies. Like this is the conversation that teenagers are having.
It's
you know,
flirting in the apocalypse.
Yes, it is. But it was like one of the few moments, right, where we see something different. We always see Warren having a conversation with the leader of the town or something, and here we see 10K having like a real, I don't know,
Well, and
sweet
yeah, and he didn't know
conversation.
he wasn't always very talkative too, and so you
No.
see him coming out of his shell a lot more. And I love the conversation about their names too.
Oh
That's
my
not a name,
gosh.
that's a number. That's not a name, that's a color.
You
Thank
guys
God
should have
bless
been
you two
there
are adorbs.
at the table read. Oh my gosh, it was so like you could feel it. You could feel the intensity. You're like, ooh,
Hey.
hello.
So you're coming back later this season, right?
10K's like us. Do you want to meet up later and read lines?
Wink. And
Is that how it works?
And I really appreciated 5K too, finding this kind of male role model in the form of 10K.
Yeah.
Because I don't, like, even just as a kid in a non-life, constantly life-threatening scenario, I remember looking up to teenagers and thinking they were just the coolest thing,
Yeah.
and that, like, they were so grown up and that I wanted to be like them. I can't say that I ever started dressing like them or that I ever took murder lessons from them, but, like, I really liked this cute little bond that they had.
They were
You
like
know,
a little
imitation.
apocalyptic family.
I just
Imitation being the sincerest form of flattery.
Yes.
10K was like, how did he dye his hair black? And Red said, you don't want to know. And I was like, no, but I want to know.
I want to know.
How?
He looks
And he
great.
cut it so perfectly. I cut my hair once when I was a kid, and it did not turn out like that. Tell me your ways, 5K/nature boy, which is his credit.
Yeah.
Crow.
It's It's Nature Boy /5K.
Oh, really? That's the credit?
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable.
I love that Doc named him.
5K.
It's like, it's 5K. It's going to be a thing. I
Although-
coined it. It's a thing.
Crows are like the idea that this kid was raised by a murder of crows is kind of terrifying because you think that like you're like that doesn't sound possible, but
Crows are very
crows
smart.
are smart.
They're super
So there's
smart,
a story
yeah.
about this little girl, and this is real life, where she started feeding the crows that are around her house, and she'd bring out food and water for them, and they'd start bringing her trinkets. They'd bring her beads, and they'd bring her bottle caps, and they'd bring her little shiny things. And she has all of these trinkets like laid out and keeps them in a box. And this murder of crows has essentially adopted her family. At one point, they went to, I think, a local tourist attraction. I don't remember the specifics. And the mom lost her lens cap from her camera. It fell down in a place where she wouldn't be able to reach it. They got home. The lens cap was on their doorstep.
kidding
The crows
me.
had brought it back. Crows are smart.
Again, you reframe
Smart
that
animals.
just ever so slightly,
And it's the birds.
it turns from like sweet and endearing to kind of terrifying.
You can start a turf war between crows. It's kind of amazing.
That's
Yeah.
You get one flock
Scary.
to love you, you get one flock to hate you, and then you bring them
That's
together.
called animal cruelty.
I think
It's
so.
terrible.
Yeah, it's like cockfighting.
I'm
and it's
pretty
cool.
sure that's illegal.
I've seen a lot of
Maybe
stories,
not
you
in
guys.
specifics,
Not a good
but-
plan, but it's possible. Yeah, this is why you are nice to crows, because they remember
Exactly.
things.
They do.
They don't
They're
forgive
smart.
and they don't forget.
They don't. So if you want a group of birds to raise you in the zombie apocalypse, do not go for owls. Owls are dumb as a sack of potatoes. They actually really are. They're incredibly stupid.
Aw.
Go for crows. Crows are real smart.
They're so cute, though, those owls.
They are cute, but they're really dumb.
Yeah, cute things usually aren't dumb.
But yeah, seeing
I don't know,
him
cats.
just surrounded by his family, by the crows, you get the feeling that this isn't going to be the last time we see him.
Oh yeah, no.
So, or at the very least, that the crows will get revenge.
I was just thinking about that.
They will avenge
Yeah,
their
attacking
fallen.
a bunch of zombies. Oh my gosh, like
that would
Alfred
be-
Hitchcock meets.
That would be so
Z-Nation.
creepy. They're just pecking out
Yep.
their brains.
You know,
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. Like, that's the deleted scene. That is how 5K survived. He ran, and then like his family descended like steps out of
Somebody's taking
hell.
notes right now. You know.
Oh gosh.
Oh god, yeah, it's kind of terrifying though. But yeah, I appreciated the dynamic they all had, and again, having been on set, that kid was such a trooper.
Oh my
Like,
god,
so
yes.
The scene, because the day we were on set, the scene where he was in the tube and the zombie was trying to pull him out, that took about at least an hour.
It took about
to
an
film.
hour, yeah.
And it shows up for about 5 seconds on screen, or maybe like 15, 20 on screen. And so that meant that kid was screaming his lungs out for an hour to get this shot done. You guys are amazing.
You
You're
guys
like,
are so great.
yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Aw.
Headphone hug.
Headphone hug. But yeah, so actually getting to see all this come together again, just from a very biased perspective, is very cool. And the kid who was in this episode was such a trooper, and
Oh my
I
God,
hope
yes.
we get to see him.
Yeah.
I hope we get to see him again, because that was great.
He was a sweetheart for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I do not think that they're dead.
Oh, and by
Just
the way,
because no body, no death.
going back to the crows, they were real.
Yeah.
I saw that. I
They're
could tell.
All of
Yeah. I don't know about all of them, but there was a day on set where I think one of the crows' name was Elvis. Even. I hope I'm not making that up.
I'm
Isn't
assuming
cute?
that it was probably Elvis because the kid killed a snake and then a crow was eating meat. And the snake wasn't real, but the meat was real and the crow was real.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah.
Nation.
It was. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Gandalf. The crow's name was Gandalf. It just came to me. Yeah, and we all have pictures with this like crow on our arm.
That's so awesome.
And
Yes.
he'll remember you.
You will.
We went on the wrong
Really?
day.
We went when we could.
I want to meet a tamed crow.
Yeah, they can tame any animal, I
But
guess.
and yeah, there were a lot of really good like far shots of like the crow following them and just kind of like these far long shots and just seeing the bird fly. At one point we were watching with a group of people, and at one point one person was like, "Is that CGI?"
That was me.
That was you?
That was absolutely me.
I just started thinking about like the direction that Abram was like giving to the crow. Like, okay, and this shot,
Like he can't help himself.
yeah, can you make your caca just a little bit louder? Like, I'm just like,
Good. That's great. Cut. Great.
Animal actors.
yeah.
It's so funny actually, because there's a saying in showbiz: never work with children or animals. And this episode had both, and it was spectacular.
It was so great. I will say I was thrown when I first started watching it because we went on a day and I didn't know that he was raised by crows. So when I watched it and Holden's character 5K goes, "Caw!" I was like, what?
Well, we
aggressive.
only ever saw him running and screaming.
Yeah.
So there wasn't
That was our
really
reaction.
And then during cut, he just talked to us. And it never entered my brain that he wasn't a fully speaking child in
Right,
this episode.
He was super chill.
That's
It's
why
great.
Doc and, Addie were like, did he just cough me? What?
No. Before we wrap up, I do want to bring up Doc really quick
Oh,
because
yeah.
he was fantastic in this
Hardcore
episode.
this episode.
And
was.
one of the things that, again, we were talking about how Warren has really come into her own as the leader and this force to be reckoned with. He's really come into his own as her right-hand man and was just like not having any of it in this episode. Like Murphy was giving him grief and he's like, dude, we can't deal with this right now.
Yeah. And he didn't do it in a way where, like, it was the funny Doc. He did it in a way that was just, very much, like, really serious, like, get your shit together.
But I feel like it was because Warren was gone. When you have a leader there, you're good to go. And when it's like, oh, she's not here, I need to step up.
Exactly.
And I kind of assumed that would be Addie. And I loved that it was Doc. And that Doc was the one who went out beyond the barricade to, be a smart ass and like say lines and really give it, and then just shouting for everyone to ready, aim, fire. Like, it was so great. Russell, way to be.
I feel like Doc and Addie are kind of both second in command, like to balance each other out.
They're kind of on equal playing field. But we also don't know kind of at what point, because it's still like post Mac, and when Mac died, it didn't They recovered, but at the same time, like, I'm wondering if, like, because it is kind of a short window between when we lost him and when we got Lucy, I'm wondering about how much time has passed. So maybe that's one of the reasons why she was a little bit more reserved, is because that's still an open wound. I don't know.
Yeah, and I was also wondering the timeline too, because in episode 5, she and 10K got anthrax.
That's
true. So they were healing from that.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah. So it would be nice to kind of figure out where exactly in the timeline this fits place. And that's another thing too about
between 5 and 6, but that's a very nebulous.
Yeah, we don't know how much time passed and everything like that.
It's so hard to sit here and just like listen. Only because yeah, I'm just like just so you know, as long as I don't have anything to say, it's just I can't say anything.
Again, kind of one of the great things about this though is, we did have this window. And you start to wonder, like, oh, what other adventures did they have that we didn't get to see?
Yeah.
And, like, what other players are going to be in place during season 3 that we just haven't met yet, who have been, like, spinning their wheels all this time?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of flashbacks, baby.
Yes.
Having such a flexible timeline.
And I'm not saying that it happened for this, because I would have to go back and diligently watch the last 2 seasons, but any throwaway line could give way. Any seemingly throwaway line within a script could give way to a really elaborate flashback story. And again, not saying that happened here, but like
they've had a lot of stories like that, like where you just mention something and you're like,
They've had a lot of noodle incidents.
That's what it's called. Yeah.
And specifically, I just realized this was Warren's flashback. So I think that's like part of the reason why Vasquez wasn't there. She's sort of remembering it in a certain way, which is why Cassandra's wearing a jumpsuit and so it's actually, I don't know if they changed it, but it's meant to be specifically Warren's flashback, which is why she's the one narrating, not just because she's a leader, but because it's her
like
flashback.
it's very much her perspective. It's always kind of funny too when you are working in flashbacks like that and you get stuff that's not directly from that character's point of view. You know, it's something they have to learn about after the fact that, you know, gets incorporated into the flashback. So, you know, Dr. Teller actually getting kidnapped and Murphy standing in awe. You know, that's not something Warren saw.
Right, exactly.
That sort of thing. But I bet that's still cool that this was all from her perspective. That makes it very interesting because you get someone's personal bias when you get like their flashback like that. Like maybe it just seemed like Doc was stepping up and wasn't taking any of Murphy's crap because that's how Warren saw it.
Right. Yeah. We actually did implement a lot of that once we knew, because like, where is Vasquez and where, you know, what about the scars? And it's like,
Vasquez was not important enough. She's like, yeah, I'm sure this guy was there at some point, but I don't remember him. Whatever.
again,
I'm trying
I
to
say
tune him out.
nothing.
She was intentionally not thinking about him because she finds him attractive. She's
Yes.
like, I don't have time for that.
He's
I don't have time for that.
distracting, and I'm trying to tell the story, so he just wasn't there.
Because we don't have time. We don't have time. But it would be great actually to get more, because we got a little bit of that in the flashback episode last season where, you know, everybody was flashing back and we got to see a little bit of what their lives were like before the apocalypse. It would be a lot of fun to see kind of a lot of more stories from those people's perspectives, or even like this same thing told from the perspective of someone else or from a different angle. There's a lot of fun narrative like devices you can use and a lot of like fun things you can do from a storytelling perspective. Yeah.
I'm remembering the Run Lola Run episode from season 1 with Addie remembering things incorrectly, and we start thinking that it's Mac, and it's like, no, this has been Addie's thing the whole time.
Yeah, she was projecting her issues onto him.
Pretty glorious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gives me chills thinking about it.
Yep. Well, we are running short on time, sadly. We could probably spend hours again just kind of talking and gushing about this episode.
This was a blast.
It was a blast to watch. It was a blast to work on.
Yes.
It's so weird to say
biasness.
No bias here.
Completely biased review.
We will eventually have a behind-the-scenes video out with a lot of our footage. We have a lot of pictures that we took that I think we can probably release now that the episode's up.
Yes. So keep an eye on our Twitters and keep an eye on the AfterBuzz YouTube channel for that behind-the-scenes video. Hopefully later on this week.
Life is busy, y'all.
Life is really
busy.
Yeah. But we want to talk to you really quickly before we go about iTunes. Folks, thank you so much for everybody who's gone to iTunes to rate, leave a comment, subscribe. It really is the best way to let our producers know that you like the show that we're putting on, and we love hearing from you. We love reading the comments on YouTube, and we love hearing from you guys on iTunes as well. And again, we've missed you, and if you leave a comment on iTunes, you may just get a shout out on the show.
We actually have 2 from last time that were left, after last season.
Oh no.
We have Z Nation from Maddie. I honestly love how you guys do this program with this show. I can't wait for more episodes. Love you guys.
Oh, thank you.
We love you.
And I have a problem from Kylie a Chicken Face XD.
More cowbell?
Maybe, I don't know, more zombies. I've listened to this podcast over 5 times all the way through, just waiting for the next installment. I love the staff and the guests, 100% my favorite podcast. Thank you for all that you do. Here's a new episode. You have new content.
Yay, we're so happy to be back.
Oh, thank you.
We're super thrilled to be here, you
Are you
guys. This
getting
is so much
verklempt?
fun to do.
I'm getting a little verklempt.
Isn't
It's
that
fine.
sweet?
That's super sweet. Thank you guys so much. So
That's
please,
not a problem, by the way. We love you.
Please go to iTunes, rate, leave a comment, subscribe. You'll get a shout out on the show. It's great. Pisay, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Ladies. I love being back always.
Oh, it's always
This is
such
the
a pleasure.
A-team, you know?
Yeah.
Again, anytime you want to come back, you are always welcome on this panel.
Yes.
Do you have any upcoming projects that you can talk about? I know with a lot of stuff in development, it can be hard to discuss. Is there anything you can talk
And
about?
I hate jinxing stuff. I'm super superstitious. That's to say that 10 times.
Yep, that was good.
But I've got 3 comic conventions coming up. One in Philly, one in North Carolina, another one in Alamo City. So please come visit me there. Visit me on Twitter. Visit me on Facebook. Maybe you can be my next date to another LA premiere.
I'd like to be your date to an LA premiere.
You know where to find me.
Hey.
Again, cannot say say thank you enough for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thank you again. Michelle, where can people go if they want to keep up with you?
You can find me on Twitter at Michelle Cullen and on Instagram at Awkward Photographer.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I'm also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. We have Red vs. Blue this week. That is Wednesday at 7. We have Blind Spot is back on Thursdays at 9. And Rebels is coming back next week, Tuesdays, 7 p.m., I believe.
Next week, yep.
And Arrow comes back in October because the CW is weird. I'm back on this network. Hi, guys.
Yeah,
Crazy stuff.
I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. Again, cannot say thank you enough to Pisay for joining us.
Yay.
And
You ladies.
Thank you again to everybody who works on Z Nation. Everybody who was so accommodating while we were up in Spokane. Cannot say thank you enough. You guys
are wonderful.
amazing.
Keep
We
doing
adore
what you're
you all.
doing because you are all amazing. And thank you all so much for watching. We will see you all next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
I am Spartacus.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.